Welcome to the most exciting speech that you're going to hear today. First of all, I have to explain that I have sent this presentation to the CIO of Verizon, Judy Spitz, and I have brought this together for this reason: to spread my idea of this Career Accelerator training program to each of you. And I did that to gain your acceptance, and also because I want to get feedback from you guys. So I want you to put on your critical thinking thought hat, okay? Just pull. I want everyone to pick up their hands and pull their hat on right now. Okay, some people didn't do it. So think very carefully about all the things I'm saying, and then write down your questions, because we're going to have 5 minutes worth of questions and answers at the end, and I really want to get a lot of feedback from you guys. All right, so that's the purpose for this briefing today. In recent headlines, you can see from the Wall Street Journal and from eWeek these amazing changes in our economy. Tech hiring is going to go through the roof this year. The Chief Financial Officer said, "We expect to continue hiring aggressively throughout the whole year." This is from Google, okay? So, how does that impact all of us? Well, as Verizon IT employees, and some other people here, we have to figure out, how do we make Verizon the place to work? How can we be as cool and a destination workplace as Google or Apple in this kind of upcoming economy where people are going to really recruit us to want to take us away from Verizon? So this plan is to make Verizon the it place to be. Our goal is to create a nimble, agile, performance culture company. People want to work with people who are quick, fast, we're doing things that matter, we all communicate really, really well. The culture can be summed up in two terms: people skills. Okay? When we communicate with each other, we want the other person to understand. It has to be 100%, 100%. Both people want to be able to communicate correctly, and that's called people skills. This will make our company a nimble, fast company to work for. And the answer to this is called the Career Accelerator Program. Let's look at the problem. People skills are needed to have success in a project. It makes it much quicker. And the problem is, let's face it, guys, IT workers are naturally introverted, right? That's why we picked IT, because we want to look at our computer. We want to focus on technical aspects. This is just a fact. Now, this becomes a problem, because to make large software systems work, we need a lot of people to work together. There's our problem. So what's the prognosis? Well, if you have all these people with technical skills, and if you try to find in those set of people with the actual people skills, it's a very small set. So they're very rare, just like a unicorn, which is why I have the pretty unicorn on my slide. And then there's people in IT who have both skills, and they become the ones who have to carry the load of making the whole project forward. They're like, okay, this guy won't talk with this guy. I'm going to go in there and make them talk to each other so they can get that interface working. Okay, it's just a few basic people that have to keep doing that over and over again. Well, guess what? They're going to get burned out, and you're going to have a real problem. Prognosis. The lack of people skills is going to proliferate the slowdowns and inefficiencies in the projects. With a slower workforce and more high cost cutting, we're going to become obsolete as a company. Verizon is just not going to matter. It's going to be a has-been. You can notice the dinosaurs. What's the solution? Technical people can learn people skills. Just look at each of you, right? You're here and you're learning. It's amazing. I was once the most dorky geek you've ever met. It's so true. You guys probably don't believe it, but I used to have to go on calls every once in a while, and my boss is like, listen, you need to get a headset so you can talk on the phone more. I said, I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to people. I want to stay off calls. I don't want to be on calls. I want to just code. And that's exactly how I thought. So I am living proof that technical people can learn people skills. So we need systematic training. We need to have something in place where people can learn the skills. And we have to have it backed by executive willpower. We can't just have a few people here and a few people there that are trying to do this on their own. We really need to have a concerted effort. And then it has to be reinforced during performance reviews. Every year, at the end of your year, your boss will go through and say, how are your people skills going? How is that training going? Is it working for you? Are you being able to see benefits in your work? So it will be in your performance review. And we have to market it skillfully, right? If you make it some mandatory, boring thing, then people aren't going to want to do it, and it's just going to backfire. The project goals of this Career Accelerator program that I'm putting together is to give Verizon the people skills and the inspiration, okay? It also requires inspiration. You can't just give them a manual and say, okay, here you go. You also have to inspire them and motivate them to want to use it and show them why it's important. And the important thing here is you're going to retain your high-value employees, and we're going to attract other employees. When we tell our friends, hey, I work at Verizon, they're going to go, oh man, I want to work at Verizon. Why can't I work at, you know people who work at Google, they're like, oh, how do I get in there, right? We're going to make Verizon that kind of it place to work. So what are the possible implementations for this? Well, you could go on your computer and go on your laptop and do NetLearn. And you know what? Please just shoot me now. Does anybody even like NetLearn? Okay, Greg doesn't count. NetLearn, I took several classes on NetLearn, and they were so boring. They took an actually interesting subject like how to run an effective meeting. How to run an effective meeting. That's the most exciting thing. You've got all your people there, you're working on something that's really important, and they made it so boring. So horrible. I never wanted to even run another meeting. It was terrible. But you can make it fun. And how do you do that? Well, the best way to run people skill meeting or courses is with actual people. Like all of us sitting together. We could do a problem-solving session, and we could all work together to actually come up with something, and we can learn best practices. My idea is this. We would have face-to-face sessions with very small classes and very short, just 2 hours. We don't need to have a 17-hour course. Within 2 hours, you can cover the basics, try it out, role-playing. Everyone can practice this skill right on in the meeting. Discussions, people can bring in their real-life experience and talk about things that have happened to them. And they can do presentations, just like we're doing today in Toastmasters. We do presentations, and we can get feedback, and we can get better right away. And then they'll get a certificate when they're finished. Now, how do we get there from here? First of all, you have to get buy-in from all the management. You can't just go in and start doing something with all the directors, the executives, the vice presidents, the CIOs, the managers. Everybody has to buy into it all along the process. Then you create all the curriculum. So I've created 5 classes, which I think are really going to help people. And you create all the curriculum along the way, and then you create training schedules. We could use TELUS to actually manage all the software or all the classes. Then you have to train the trainers, because I can't do it by myself. After that, you register in TELUS, and then you inform the management train to start letting people get into the classes. Measurement is really important. All CIOs and CEOs will tell you if you can't measure it, don't even do it. So we would have a few things. We'd have an assessment at the end of the class, and then you mail a survey out and get some responses afterwards, and of course your management performance review. Now let's talk about you. What do you guys think about my idea?